Prime Minister, we'd like to first of all congratulate you with the contract signed with the Clash Group. Could you inform us a little bit more about the contract you signed and maybe give us some details about it?
Yes, it's basically the first contract of 3 because still pending is a government agreement where we reach agreements on, for example, the tax regime and things like that, and the final deed of transfer. Basically, what we accomplished is after a very, very intensive negotiation period, we reached an asset and purchase agreement with the Clash Group, where somewhere halfway through 2020, they will take over the refinery. And it's a transfer of assets, let's say the plants, the installations, and the property will be given in loan lease. So that will remain, let's say, property of the country to RDK, which is the holding company, Refinery de Control, but they will have those to their disposition to run the refinery and operate the oil terminal at Mumbai.
This is quite an accomplishment because, as you see, we're not the only refineries in the Caribbean. So what would you say to the organization that actually made this possible, the PMO, right?
Yes, we're very proud of them. All local experts, many of them that work at the refinery, so they are experts, let's say, that have oil refining experience, led also by someone from the private sector. She's a manager or director of the public workers pension funds. So a local team, and I tell you, the way they worked was very inspiring. They met their match, I must say. It was not an easy negotiation, but you see there was a willingness on both sides. There was an interest, genuine interest from the Clash Group, and indeed, like you mentioned, some of the circumstances were not optimal for Curaçao. There are other refineries available or non-operational in the region. But also the situation in Venezuela makes it less of a business case than at other times. Nevertheless, we found a partner, the Clash Group, which operates a refinery in Heide, Germany, which I visited. And their business model is not tied to a particular geographic area or let's say country, in this case Venezuela. Our refinery was built to refine the Venezuelan crude. But his business model is market-based in the sense that he buys crude on the market through traders, refines it based on his process model that he developed, based on efficiency and bottom line profitability, and sells products on the market again, either directly to the market or to, let's say, other refineries, for example. So it is a whole new business for Curaçao, and at the end of the day, we will end up with a refinery that is standalone, will be profitable, so not anymore part of a larger system or larger conglomerate.
Okay. What do you say to those? Because after you signed, we heard several cries in the community, especially from the union, that you are selling Curaçao's properties to a foreigner. What do you say to people like that?
Well, basically, when we evaluated, and certainly considering the large amounts of investment that have to be made due to the backlog maintenance, because normally, if you are putting a property like that on the market, whether it's lease or otherwise, they would take it over in good condition. Our refinery is not in good condition, it's not up to par. And therefore, we thought to make it more attractive for interested parties, offer the option that they can buy the refinery plants and then invest in the refinery. And that's what we accomplished. So there is a commitment to invest, to upgrade the refinery. Also a commitment and actually a requirement to invest to make sure that they comply with more stringent environmental regulations which are now in the making. And also we will receive, let's say, annual returns from the annual lease fee. And also what we accomplished, what wasn't there before, we will get a little bit of the operations at Mumbai, in the sense that above a certain threshold we will, RDK will receive let's say, a return on every barrel that goes through the bottom line, let's call it the throughput fee. So even though in this case Clash will carry the risk, RDK, which puts the oil terminal to their disposition to long lease, will even profit from the volume of operations, which is something that we were looking for and accomplished.
So as Prime Minister and the person responsible for this sector, you're satisfied with what the PMO has reached?
Very satisfied. They worked very hard. They worked as a team, which is inspiring, I must say. And also, I mean, there's a lot of discussions and of course questions about the transaction and about the sale, but what did we set out to accomplish? We set out to accomplish to maintain the oil refinery operational for a longer period, maintain employment, which is important because these people and the level of let's say preparation, when you're talking about chemists, engineers, operators and so on, you cannot easily shift them to another let's say industry or economic sector. And also you get the space now, which is also something we accomplished because in the agreement with Clash we managed that they will operate on a smaller footprint so that RDK will have more property to their disposal to develop other businesses, so we can work on a transition, for example, to more sustainable and renewable energy based business in both of our ports. So that is something that we accomplished, so now we can work on a transition to a sustainable future for the activities that are on the properties of the RDK.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
My pleasure.